popular Roblox games. This mere phrase alone has a very negative reputation surrounding it, from people calling all popular Roblox games slop to complaining about the fact that genuine quality projects don't end up on the front page. To figure out why this might be the case, I will be playing and reviewing several Roblox games that have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of active players on them every day, all to answer the question, are popular Roblox games actually bad as people say they are? But first, I need to explain how my reviewing system will work. I will give games a grade from 1 through 10. I will also say what the game already does well and what it could improve to be even better. I will also give a bonus grade for what the game could be if it took my suggestions into account. I also interviewed a developer for one of the biggest Roblox games on the platform right now, so make sure to stick around for that. Without further ado, subscribe if you enjoy, and let's begin. Grow a Garden is single-handedly the game everybody points to when calling popular Roblox games bad, and to some extent I have to agree with this. The game isn't bad in the sense that it works as intended and is relatively bug-free, but what really annoys people is the fact that the most popular game on the entire platform is an idle game. A game you don't even play actively for the most part. It doesn't really have gameplay, so to speak, so how did this happen? How did this game get so popular and break several world records? I'm no expert, but I think it can all be boiled down to engagement. Roblox works kind of similarly to how YouTube does, for example. One of the key elements of a successful YouTube video is keeping people engaged and watching for as long as possible, and Roblox is no stranger to that philosophy. But what Grow a Garden does differently is that it encourages people to rejoin it, almost like a routine. The game itself is not something you'd play for hours on end, but because the plants grow offline, you feel the need to constantly rejoin the game every now and then, check up on your garden. I don't think I'm supposed to be the target audience for this game, but apparently I am. This is the reason the videos take so long to make. As a game, it is so fundamentally simple that even a toddler can understand how to play it. Oh, hey, that's like half of the audience. Because Roblox's primary audience is children, the accessibility of Grow a Garden is what really made it get these insane numbers. You plant the fruit, you wait for it to grow, you sell it, you wait a few more minutes for the shop to restock, you buy more fruits, you plant those, and repeat. My problem with Grow a Garden is that the more you play it, the less fun it gets. And to demonstrate that, I made a graph. So, you see, it takes a few good plants until your dopamine receptors start firing. After that, you're on top of the world. You keep adding more and more rare plants to your collection and expanding your garden until you've basically seen it all. And the game just has nothing else to offer. I mean, sure, you can just try and grow the biggest, coolest plant possible, but there isn't anything actually left to do. You have all the money in the world, but at what cost? Yeah, you're watching a nearly adult man overanalyze Grow a Garden. Welcome to the channel. So, what does Grow a Garden get right? To some degree, it's addicting, and not in a good way. The way that everything in this game moves so quickly makes you feel like you don't want to leave just in case you'll miss something. Like, are they called shekels or shackles, bro? You can just hop on for 10 minutes, and then somehow more than 10 minutes will pass. The art style is also easy on the eyes, which helps make it more appealing, with simple colors and the stud texture literally plastered everywhere. But what could it improve? The only thing I could really see Grow a Garden improving is the late game. The point where you just have trillions of dollars and nothing to spend them on. And you might say, oh, but they have garden ascensions and an actual progression system. But no! The progression is optional. Maybe I just lost interest in the game, but I feel like it just kind of loses its charm once you get a decent amount of cool rare plants, because guess what? That's the only thing you do in this entire game. A bit more gameplay diversity could potentially help fix this issue, like giving you an actual reason to use your money, but also make the game risk losing its accessibility. Which is why Grow a Garden, by default, in terms of enjoyment, is a 6 out of 10. But if it improved some of its flaws in order to become more fun, it could be like a decent 8 out of 10. The game isn't necessarily bad. I've had moments where I've played it for several hours on end. Somehow, it knows how to steal your time. But hey, the formula works. Every game game now has "does X offline" in their thumbnails because it's pretty smart. It makes you want to check up on your game very frequently without something like daily rewards that most people don't even care about. Moving on to the next one. Have you ever played Blox Fruits with your life on the line while having a bunch of mangoes in your mouth? This video was the only impression I had of this game. Blox Fruits is a bit of an enigma to me. I've never seen gameplay of it in my life, but for some reason it averages about 500,000 players every day. Surely there's gotta be a reason to this, I said to myself optimistically, and so I decided to jump in and try it out. I was then shot 47 times. Yeah, I still don't know what's so special about it. Let me tell you what Blox Fruits is about. You take quests, you defeat an X amount of enemies to complete the quest, you level up until you're able to go to the next area. Take another quest, you defeat an X amount of enemies to complete the quest, you level up until you're able to go to the next area. You take another— yeah, I think you get it by now. Oh, I forgot to mention that there are Blox Fruits. It's in the name. Each individual Blox Fruit gives you like some cool little abilities upon consumption. And this game just kind of taps into every edgy teenager's inner desire to become an anime protagonist with cool, flashy VFX that makes you feel cool. Blox Fruits is apparently inspired by the anime One Piece, and one thing that they have in common is that they're boring as f, is that they take so long. The creator decided to stay true to the source material by recreating the pain of having to watch 1,000 episodes where nothing happens. Jokes aside though, apparently this game gets better the more you play it, meaning that the beginning of the game allegedly doesn't resemble the late game. The reason I say allegedly is because I couldn't bring myself to play this longer. So this game is really not my cup of tea. In fact, I still don't understand what this game is actually about, and I played it for a few good hours. Blox Fruits is a grind though, but it's not a grind in the sense that you do something relatively easy for a relatively short period of time. No, don't get it twisted. This shit is tedious. It's just clicking the mouse or pressing keys on the keyboard mindlessly. Honestly, I'd rather play Cookie Clicker, bro. That shit has more gameplay than this. Let's just calm down for a second. We're getting too negative. Usually with popular games, there kinda be a visible reason for why so many people play it. Grow a garden? It's oddly addicting. There is kind of a reason people play it so much. It's fun to see your garden grow and expand. Blox Fruits? I have no idea. I've looked all across the internet trying to do research so as to find out why people like this game so much. And apparently, you only have to sink in like dozens of hours before it supposedly becomes fun or whatever. That might just be coping. Look, you can just admit the game is not that good. And if you do think it is good, then good for you. I just don't really see it that way, and I'm sorry I can't see it that way. But hey, prove me wrong. Seriously, if there are any Blox Fruits pros watching this, please tell me. For how long have you been playing this game and why? I'm genuinely curious. Maybe I am missing out. Regardless, there is effort put into this game. There's a shit ton of content, even if it's kind of basically just copy-pasted around, and the Blox Fruits themselves are all really cute and silly looking. I just feel like the grind could be lessened down a little bit, you know? Like the gameplay doesn't even change that much. It's just consistently defeat X enemy Y times to level up, because that's all you really need to focus on. There really isn't an incentive to do anything else besides eat, sleep, grind. So what does Blox Fruits get right? Good question, actually. I feel like the overall concept of Blox Fruits is pretty cool, and I'm not talking about the game. There is a very wide variety of abilities and synergies that each individual Blox Fruit offers, which motivates people to experiment with different playstyles. Like the sand fruit that I got, which is stupid as shit, but hey, at least I'm sand now. Enemies can't kill me because I'm made of sand. That's kind of cool. But what could Blox Fruits fix? A lot. But to put it simply, the grind. The game's whole shtick is about making you do the same monotonous thing over and over again for a huge chunk of the game. I don't really care if there are cool bosses or raids or whatever other things people are saying there are if the first like 50 hours of the game is just spent killing pointless enemies for no reason. So I would love it if the game fixed the issue of padding the playtime length and actually gave people more to do besides gambling and just killing enemies. Which is why I'm giving Blox Fruits a 4 out of 10. Yup, but if it fixed its whole gameplay problem and added just overall more combat variety and things to do, it could be a 7 out of 10. You can tell me that it gets better past a specific point, but if getting there isn't fun, maybe it won't even be worth the hassle. Sorry, got a little negative. Let's move on to the next one. I'm rather excited for this one. 99 Nights in the Forest. Ooh, scary. 99 Nights in the Forest is a game about surviving, you guessed it, 99 nights in the forest and rescuing the missing children. And to do that, you must keep your campfire lit at all times by finding various fuel sources like wood or fuel canisters, you know, just about anything, even the corpses of your enemies. Because the main threat is this weird deer creature that will stop at nothing to get you. Well, besides light, which is why you must keep the fire alive. But hey, if the game was just that, it wouldn't be sitting in like the top 3 most played games on the platform right now, which is why I must get ready for the interview. Hello?
Yo.
Could you introduce yourself as if you're like talking to someone who doesn't know you at all?
Yeah, so Cracky4 on Roblox. I've been doing this for over a decade, making games. I've been playing Roblox a lot longer than that though. Yeah, I'm most well known for 99 Nights in the Forest, that hopefully as of right now is the #1 game. I don't know when this is scheduled to be released. But Plants vs. Brainrots might be ahead of us by that time, which would be devastating. And I also made Breakin', the Breakin' story series, for those of you who've been playing a bit longer. And for those of you who've been playing even longer, I've also made Mall Tycoon. I also made Icebreaker, was a big game back in 2018, 2019. And then if you're really old, then I also made Defenders of Roblox back in 2014, 2015. So many top 10 games over the years, but most people won't remember the old ones.
99 Nights in the Forest is oddly fun. The reason I say oddly is because you don't expect it to actually click. You boot it up, maybe with some pals along the way, you fiddle around with it for a few minutes, then suddenly you've been playing it for over an hour and can't put it down. This game just kind of tugs on my nostalgia heartstrings. To every new gen out there, the visuals might not really hit as much as they did for me. It reminds me of old Roblox survival games I used to play back in the day, like Booga Booga. 99 Nights in the Forest doesn't try to show off with insane visuals or overstimulating gameplay, it just gets the job done. I wanted to point this out, but I feel like the art style of 99 Nights specifically kind of reminds me of older Roblox games, with like, you know, there are a few meshes here and there, but most of the enemies and the builds are made with parts. Was there anything that influenced this decision?
Okay, yeah, I'll talk on this for a bit, because I think it's interesting, and I think like maybe this will sort of give players a new perspective. A big criticism that our game gets is that like the graphics are bad. That's like a very consistent criticism.
I think it gives me a bit of nostalgia whenever I play it, so I don't think it's that bad.
I'm glad you get nostalgia. Yeah, I felt the same about Dead Rails when I played. I felt, because that was, you know, they sort of did the similar art style, and then we just like took that and did our own thing. But you look at any of the top Roblox games right now, we've got 99 Nights, and there's like a few Brainrot games. There's Brookhaven, and then there's Blox Fruits. So those are the top 6. And all of those games have super simple art styles, and I'm going to tell you why I think that is a thing that we aspired to, rather than, you know, trying to be something more like Doors or Pressure, these beautiful games. So for one, I think there's performance consideration. So these simple games, they run on all devices, they aren't overly complicated, and so you can reach a wider audience. So that's one thing. But then the second thing, which I think is more underrated, is that I think having the very simple art style means things are just organically more clear and And I'm a gameplay guy. Like, that's my primary thing. I am fascinated by game design. I want to craft a very meticulous sequence of gameplay, and I think we accomplish that with our game. In order to accomplish that, there is a lot of visual stimulation and visual feedback that games can have that sort of distract the player from the gameplay. And so by stripping everything back and having it very sort of bare bones and simple and this old art style, I think it frees up the game to just be easier to understand for players, because there's less for them to pay attention to, and they can sort of focus on other aspects of the game more.
The bare bones nature of the game is definitely kind of a hit or miss thing, but I personally, for the most part, find it quite nice. The gameplay loop is simple. You feed fuel to the campfire, but also craft various structures, and you gotta create this balance of making sure you survive and making sure you survive. It's no surprise that everything in this game is out to get you. It is ruthless, and the basic Roblox combat feels a slight bit annoying to deal with. Pair that with the fact that you can get killed in a matter of seconds and you're crashing out. But this is obviously a Roblox experience that you have to master by just trying over and over and over again. I don't think the developers made it so that you get a grip on the game on your first try. You're bound to make mistakes, and that's okay. In fact, let's ask the man himself. Do you think the game right now is like too hard, too easy? Have you had like issues with balancing it out or stuff like that?
Dude, balancing on Roblox is a nightmare. Like, because I want 4-year-olds to be able to play this game with their parents, and they do. I have parents, being like, me and my son play your game. He loves, and there is nothing cooler than that for me. But then I have like you. I don't know how old you are, but you're like,
I'm 17.
Yeah, 17. So like, I want everyone from the ages 4 to 17 to be able to enjoy this game, and that's like really hard to pull off. It is a challenge, but we kind of have, and that's why we're the game. We're on double the number 2 games player base right now, and that is because girls love our game, boys love the game, people who are very young kids love the game, but also adults. A 5-year-old or a 6-year-old can play with their their 30-year-old parent, and both parties can enjoy it, and that that is my goal. We want to create something that can be enjoyed universally, and I want everyone to be able to enjoy it with each other, and just for it to be like universally appreciated, and I'm so like glad to have been able to do that and to actually like realize that goal with this game. But how we did it, if I can go in depth, is optional difficulty. So the fire is obviously a safe zone, so nothing can get you. So if you're like a young kid, or a new player or something, you can chop trees, you can do things near the base, and you're relatively safe. So for somebody like you or like myself, then that's when we introduce things like the volcanic biome had like the cultist king, who you can summon, and then he's like a little mini boss fight you can do in order to get rare loot. And then we have like the winter temple in the ice biome, the frog temple when the frog event happens. Like, there are all these sort of like little side quests you can do which are optional. You don't have to do them, but for like a teenager or something, or an adult, that's like a cool piece of like optional difficulty they can do. Like, there's all these like late game, or not late game, but mid game things you can do, which is sort of extra content which is optional.
Another complaint I hear a lot about this game is that it's boring. Yeah, fair. Disclaimer, hot take incoming. Beware, the survival game is boring? What? I could have never seen that one coming. You're meaning to tell me that strip mining for hours in Minecraft and seeing nothing but stone is fun? Hell no! And let me set the record straight. I love Minecraft, but survival games are inherently boring in a sense. But it's that boring aspect which is what ultimately makes them so fun to begin with. I know, contradicting words, but hear me out. You don't boot up a survival game expecting ultra kill levels of overstimulation. You just play it because it's chill. 1 minute you're building your base, the next you're fighting some creatures, and the next you're looking for resources. You're literally doing chores, but in game instead of in real life. That's what makes them fun, and this game is no different. Now, am I comparing a behemoth like Minecraft to a silly Roblox game? No, not really. I just wanted to point out that all survival games are kind of like this. It's satisfying to just observe the smooth progression of your character as you get better gear and stuff. In comparison to other games on the list, 99 Nights in the Forest is honestly not that bad. Admittedly, I got really addicted to this game when I had to go get footage challenge for it. I even got the achievement that requires you to get to day 500. Why did I do that? I have no fucking idea. I don't recommend it. But yeah, this game works a lot better with other people, so bring some bring some what the oh bring some connections to help you out, because the game is a little grindy, especially when it comes to unlocking new classes. Right, those are also a thing, with each new class giving you different perks, but they are pretty hard to obtain because of a lot of reasons. You don't reach the top of the charts if you don't make your game profitable, of course.
I used to get called greedy on Breakin for my monetization on that, and I think in Breakin there's like only like 5 things you can buy in it. Like Breakin is so under-monetized almost to a fault, where it's like you look at it and you're like, is this guy like stupid? Why is he not like selling more stuff? Like, so it's like people have always, I don't know, it's like a thing on Roblox, and I think it's important that people are aware of like what's it called, like evil monetization methods and stuff, and that the community calls it out. But like one thing I'm very proud of with our game is that I think we've been very sensible, and I think that one aspect I'm proud of is that in the actual game, I have to be careful what I say because we might change this, but as of right now, the actual game of 99 Nights in the Forest, there's like almost nothing you can buy except for like reviving. I think reviving is the only thing you can buy with Robux in the actual like game.
It isn't pay to win, I think is what you want to say.
There's like little aspects of it. They're like nothing that isn't, you know, just like standard for Roblox. And also, dude, if we remove reviving, we would get crucified. Like people would hate that. So like it would just be a lose-lose for like every single person. But yeah, obviously we wouldn't even consider that. But like, yeah, that's one thing I'm very proud of, is the actual game of 99 Nights. It is just like, it is a pure game.
It is a game.
It is a game. It is a game.
Yeah. So what does 99 Nights in the Forest get right? It's a fun, fairly addicting Roblox game with a simple gameplay loop. Honestly, what the game has right now is merely a foundation, and I have high hopes for future content updates to really tie it all together. It's a good, fun game, and low-key, every friend I've played it with literally came to me the next day and said it was addicting and wanted to play it more. I liked it, but what could it improve? I think at the moment, it's missing juice.
We'll do the juice update.
Yeah. As I've said, it's got a good foundation, but that's all it really is. A foundation for something more. It's missing a lot of potential content. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much sound. It just needs to add onto this fairly solid foundation. With all of that out of the way though, 99 Nights in the Forest gets a really good 9 out of 10. Get it? Because 99 Nights with potential to become a 10 out of 10. I have pretty high hopes for this game. I genuinely do believe this at least deserves the credit it's getting. It has gameplay, which is not something most other front page games can say about themselves. God, I hate this game. Whatever, let's just go to the next game.
Oh no, I'm gonna fucking die. Please,
Forsaken. I've expressed a lot of negative thoughts about this game in the past, but I've reformed. It's definitely not because the Block Hills and Forsaken teams are so closely knit. that was a joke. Forsaken is pretty cool, I'd say. In comparison to other games on this list, Forsaken is actually pretty well made. It isn't the best game out there on Roblox, but it definitely does deserve some of its praise. Forsaken is an asymmetrical horror game. The asymmetrical part comes from the fact that the teams are unbalanced, there being one killer against up to 8 survivors. If this sounds familiar, that's because I'm not gonna say it. Yeah, so games like this have always gotten a lot of hype on Roblox for some reason. You know, we had Flee the Facility and that's the only one I played, honestly. What differentiates Forsaken is that it does have a certain level of polish to it, which creates this interesting blend of modern visuals with retro style builds. All in all, Forsaken is a really charming game with expressive characters, each one having their own set of abilities to help them win the game. It's a Roblox game with a relatively high skill ceiling, and there are all sorts of cool guides and tutorials to help you play better. And through the way I'm describing it, this sounds like an awesome game, right? Well, it is, but the gameplay makes me want to pull my hair out at times, and I have nearly 2 whole days of playtime on this experience. You know what makes me want to pull my hair out even more? My Discord server. I try to be pretty active on it, so if you want to interact with me or just have a chance to talk to very normal people, then feel free to join it. The link is in the description. You see, what I don't really like about Forsaken is that the gameplay at its rawest, purest form just consists of mainly having better ping than your opponent and juking them endlessly. The actual game is just this, juking the killer to survive, which on its own isn't really that interesting. Sure, each character has their own abilities, some defensive, some offensive that can kind of change up this scenario, but the game itself just puts you in a box with a killer and says, okay, survive for 3 minutes with no actual other objective, just generators that can be fixed that tick down the timer a little bit. And because of the fact that it's sort of a team-based game, finding competent teammates is a challenge. Oh, look, I guess the Shedletsky is gonna die real soon. Uh-oh, let's click this arrow. Oh, he's watching. He's watching from the chair! And sometimes you find someone with so much playtime on Forsaken that you start questioning your own existence. I sometimes stumble across TikToks of pro lobbies or whatever, where they document every single movement and action they make and why, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Is there seriously nothing else you do in your life besides playing the funny hitbox game? But then, when I play the game with random teammates, I mean, I might as well just be playing with myself at that point. That's so stupid. Each character is interesting in their own right, but the game doesn't really incentivize changing up the way you play it, especially if it's easy to win. I main 007N7 because even to this day, I'll still have rounds where people just fall for my tricky shenanigans, and it's kind of an easy character to play. I've tried other characters, but this one just has the highest win rate for me, so I find there's no real point in dipping my feet in other playstyles if this one works well, most of the time. So, what does Forsaken do well? It looks and feels smooth and stylish, having a very unique art style that makes it pop. It does have that vibe of a genuine passion project, which isn't something that can be said about a lot of games on the front page. And it's collaborated with so many other indie Roblox games, which I find really respectable. But the glaring issue that it can improve is the gameplay, which to some degree is reliant on the players, but also there's really not that much to do in the game. The core gameplay loop relies on doing the same thing over and over with little to no variety. A game like this could benefit from having more objectives as a survivor, advanced mechanics, hidden tech, or movement to help you feel more in control of your mistakes instead of just blaming the hitboxes. It does seem like the developers are aware of this and are working on improving it, which is already a good step in the right direction. Which is why I'm giving Forsaken a very solid 8 out of 10, but it has the potential to bump that up to a 9 out of 10. This game is definitely not bad, but it does kind of suffer from a pretty wacko community. But that's what happens when you introduce semi-conventionally attractive Roblox characters. I can't believe I even said that. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next game. Rivals. Rivals is a shooter game where you're placed on a small little map and told to just kill people. You must kill everyone on the opposing team to win a point, and the first team to 5 points wins. What characterizes Rivals is the plethora of weapons you can choose from, meaning that you can make a lot of unique loadouts and builds. Too bad everyone only uses like 5 of them. You know why this game is popular? It appeals to the average child's attention span. Everything is low poly and colorful, the rounds are quick and snappy, they're not too slow so that the game is uninteresting, but they're fast enough for you to say just one more game. I think making this video made me realize that I'm just as brain rotted as a Gen Alpha child, because I found Rivals pretty fun. I initially found it jarring that Rivals makes it so that you have to shoot people so goddamn much until they die, but after playing it for a little longer, yeah, it makes sense why they did that. Now, would I say Rivals is the best shooter purely because it's the most played? No, absolutely not. The game is full of sweaty, toxic toxic children that just reuse the same playstyles over and over. Please, there are more weapons than the fucking sniper. Be original, bruh. If I had to choose what I thought was one of the best popular shooters, I'd probably say Arsenal, but we're not reviewing that right now. Anyways, Rivals is pretty fun at times, and it makes my blood boil and sweat builds up on my forehead to make me look like I just did the ice bucket challenge. Come to think of it, there aren't really many complaints I have about this game. Like, yeah, sure, it's a little pay to win, but at this point, that criticism can be applied to 90% of popular Roblox games out there. But it is kind of a glaring issue, especially for such a skill-based Roblox game, because you're kind of determining the skill based on who has wasted more money instead of time. And yeah, sure, you can kind of grind to get just about any sort of weapon, but you can also just skip that and buy it with money. We love capitalism. Well, besides that, what can I really say about this game? I feel like because this is the last game on the list, it kind of shares some similarities with previously mentioned games. It's a little grindy, especially if you want to unlock new weapons. It's pretty decently engineered to keep you engaged, but in the end, the more friends, the better. So what does Rivals get right? Honestly, it's just simple, fun. It doesn't complicate itself with convoluted mechanics. It's basically as basic as a shooter game can get, which once again shows that you don't need to do something extremely outstanding for your game to make big money. I like it. There's not much I can really say about that. But what could it improve? Well, I think the gameplay loop is kinda lacking. Yeah, I said the game is relatively fun because it is, but there's like basically only a few whole shooter game modes, and in and of themselves, they're not that unique. Also, the slight pay-to-win aspect really ruins the game for me. Nevertheless, I still enjoyed myself, which is why I'm going to give Rivals a solid, grounded 7.5 out of 10. And if it tried to improve its gameplay loop and stopped trying to make so much goddamn money, it could be a 9.5 out of 10. All in all, this game does give off vibes of a mobile game you'd play like 6 to 7 years ago. In a good way, though. Wait, 6, 7? Anyways. So, in conclusion, are popular Roblox games actually bad? No. Are they good though? Some of them, not really. They're kind of the necessary evil needed to keep the platform alive and kicking. But they're not the literal reincarnation of Satan as some random people on the internet, mainly Twitter, describe them as being. They can actually be pretty fun with friends, and they can provide some sort of memorable events because at the end of the day, that's Roblox's whole shtick, being fun and simple. And the most popular games on the platform reflect that. I hope this video made you learn something. The next time you see someone being negative on the internet about something, just remember, there is a very fine line between criticism and negativity. Be more open-minded to trying something out of your comfort zone. I mean, that's what I did for the entirety of this video. I wasn't expecting to ever play any of these games, but I did, and it genuinely wasn't that bad. Negativity gets us nowhere. So please, don't mindlessly join the hate train for something just because everyone else is doing it. If you have actual criticism, then by all means share it. But negativity is a completely different thing. I think one of the most important lessons that I want you to leave with from this video is not necessarily that game development is hard and you should always be open-minded to trying weird games, but it's to think for yourself. Now, it's up to you for how you want to interpret that. Thank you for watching.